Hi, welcome back to Katie Lai Homes monthly podcast. I'm Katie Lai, your host and Vancouver realtor. Today we'll dive into July's market updates for Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley. Sales have leveled off for the summer and we're still in a buyer's market, which means for sellers, it's crucial that you price your home realistically and make sure your home stands out from the crowd. The Bank of Canada has continued to hold steady on its interest rate, bringing more certainty to the market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just curious about the market, give me a call. Don't forget to hit subscribe. So now sit back, enjoy, and happy listening.
Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into the latest real estate numbers for July 2025. We're looking at the Fraser Valley and Metro Vancouver. Our goal really is to make sense of all this data for you. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or maybe you're just curious about the market. But looking at the Fraser Valley first, it feels like things have cooled down a bit from that really hectic pace we saw before.
Yeah, the numbers show sales activity sort of leveling off. We're looking at 1,190 sales in July. That's a little down from June and down from last year too. But what really jumped out at me was the active listings number. It's way up, 10,650. That's almost 50% above the 10-year average. Wow. What does that actually mean for someone trying to buy a place out there?
Well, it means choice. Lots of choice, actually, and definitely more leverage for you as a buyer. That number, 10,650 listings in the Fraser Valley, it's significant. And you see it reflected in the sales to active listings ratio. It's sitting at 11% right now.
11%, okay. Yeah, so basically for every 100 homes listed, only about 11 are selling in that period. That puts the Fraser Valley firmly into what we'd call a buyer's market. It signals a real shift, buyers aren't feeling that intense pressure anymore. They can take their time. And you mentioned homes taking longer to sell. That's right, about 35, maybe 38 days on average now.
Okay, that's a big change. And it's fascinating because it sounds like this isn't just a Fraser Valley thing. When we look over at Metro Vancouver, are we seeing a similar story? More homes, more breathing room for buyers.
Exactly. It's a very similar picture, actually. Metro Vancouver sales did recover a tiny bit in July, up to 2,286, but still down about 2% compared to last July. But the inventory, that's the big story there, too. Active listings jumped to 17,168.
Wow, 17,000.
Yeah. That's almost 20% higher than this time last year. And get this, 40% above the 10-year average for listings. So absolutely, if you're searching for a home in Metro Vancouver right now, you've got, plenty of selection. The overall sales to active listings ratio there is 13.8%. So yeah, both regions are definitely seeing this shift. More options, less pressure for buyers.
Okay, so we've established there are more homes, buyers have more time. What's this doing to prices? Are we seeing those come down across the board?
Well, this extra inventory is certainly putting some pressure on prices, yes. We're seeing slight dips in the benchmark prices, and that's across all property types, really, in both areas for July. So, for example, the composite benchmark price in the Fraser Valley, that's like the price of a typical home, it dipped 0.7% to about $944,800.
Okay.
And in Metro Vancouver, pretty much the same story,
Yeah.
down 0.7% as well to $11,165,300.
Right, and 0.7% might not sound like a lot, but on these prices.
Exactly. It adds up to thousands of dollars. It really reflects that shift in, market power towards buyers. And for sellers, well, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board even noted that sellers are having to work harder now. It means being really realistic on your pricing, but also thinking about the little things like staging, maybe getting those repairs done up front.
Makes sense, and it's probably not just about local supply and demand, right? Are bigger economic factors playing a role here too?
Oh, absolutely. You're right. This cool down isn't happening in isolation. It's definitely connected to, broader economic conditions. Things like the ongoing tariff threats, trade negotiations. They create uncertainty.
For that general feeling.
Exactly. It's not just a headline. It can genuinely impact buyer confidence. People might get a bit more cautious about making huge investments like buying a home, and that can cool the market, maybe even more than just interest rates alone would suggest. It's about that overall economic mood.
Okay, so pulling it all together then. The big trend seems to be this pivot. We've moved away from that frantic seller's market. Now we're in a place where buyers have, significantly more choice and breathing room. Prices are flattening out, maybe even dipping slightly. So what's the practical takeaway for you listening right now?
Yeah, good question. I think if you're a buyer, the message is pretty clear. Now is a really good time to get out there and explore. You likely won't feel that same pressure, the bidding wars we saw before. With more homes available, you've got genuine choice. You have more negotiation power. And if you're thinking of selling, understanding this market shift is key. It's really crucial. Focus on making your home look its absolute best and price it competitively for today's market, not last year's.
So what does this all mean for your next move? Maybe think about how this increased choice, this different market dynamic, can actually open up new doors for you, whether that's finally getting into your first place or perhaps, with prices being a bit more stable, maybe that idea of upsizing doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. Something to consider.